didn't know it existed, first of all.
Okay.
That there was such a thing as the fastest growing companies. How did I find out? I think it was one of my clients was helping me with a project where because she was just like, okay, so my clients get mad at me.
Okay, why?
We have a marketing system for our business where we get people who need our help. It's very consistent. We run ads. And so our marketing is really tight. And so I don't need to do podcasts and all this other stuff like awards and periphery things. So for years, I'm helping my clients scale their businesses. They're getting to millions of dollars when they never had been there before. Some of them already had millions when they came to us and they're multiplying. Some of them may not be at millions because they don't want millions, but they want their business to do a comfortable $300,000 a year. And they're like, this is like the sweet spot for me because I don't want a big team, all of that. And I've had so many clients be like, Toyin, you're not announcing yourself the way that you need to announce yourself. And there's so many people around that don't know that it's even possible to scale the way that you've helped me scale or the way that you scale and so on. And like we use systems. So like to leverage the systems that you have, we have these systems in-house that we train our people on. So they get like it kept coming up like why are you not out here? I remember I asked a vendor, we were doing an event. I had a vendor help me put together our page, the website for that event. And so she was like looking through a bunch of our testimonials and talking to some clients. And she comes back to me mad, big mad. And she's just like, you've helped people take their business to millions of dollars. I'm even your Facebook friend. And I didn't know this is the level you play at.
Right.
And she's like, why on earth are you not talking? Because I see these other people that will do a quarter of what you've done and they're loud and you think that that's like the top of what's possible and you're doing all this stuff secretly. Yeah. So after hearing all this from all these angles, I decided, so I had this client who I knew a bunch of like awards and stuff in Canada. And I was just like, okay, what are some of the things that are out there that I could apply for and just see? Because you have to apply to be the fastest on the list for the fastest growing company. And they're serious. Like, you got to give them your tax documents. This is not, so nobody can fudge numbers, right?
Yeah, right.
And so she just was like, I think one that you would easily qualify for is this top whatever list.
Yeah, top growing companies.
Not top whatever.
It's Canada's top growing companies, guys.
Fastest growing companies. They can look at me, whatever. The work that it took for all of us that are on that list, I better give us our credits, okay? But the fastest growing companies in Canada list. So I applied, and they were like, "Yep, you would qualify." And then I was just like, "Okay, here's all the information you need." But the exciting part, so I didn't know you can apply. It doesn't mean that you're going to be on the list, and it doesn't tell you what number you will be on the list.
Right.
So when I applied, I just kind of put it in, and I was like, okay, God, whatever happens, happens. And then I got the email that we got on the list, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is legit. This is legit.
Yeah.
And then we get the final email that was like, you're number 74. And I was like, OMG! Like, out of, I think they had like 425 on the list this year. And to be number 74, I was just like, thank you, God. Like, for me, on a real level, when I see where we started, like, you know, there's this song that's like, I don't even know who sang it, maybe Drake or somebody, that's like, started from the bottom, now we here, right? And it's like, I know what it feels like to put together a business with figuring everything out, you know, where you're the administrator, you're the service provider, you're the one running payroll, you're the one trying to figure everything out. And to be where we are today, where we have an amazing team of people that are doing the work with us, and that this company provides for their families in a stable and steady way in the middle of this crazy economy, to know that We that had to move 7 times in 7 months because we did not have enough money for first and last to get out of this moldy apartment system that they didn't want to take us out of. Like, we were so stuck. And today we are the landlords and we have amazing homes for other people to live in the middle of a housing crisis. Like, to just see, like, going from barely 1 income to 11 streams of income, like, I'm just like, only God.
Yeah.
Only God and some real work, like learning, doing the things that are uncomfortable. I find that a lot of business owners, we want to do the thing that's comfortable for us. So what's comfortable for you could be, if you're you run a baking business, you're comfortable baking. You know, you run a consulting business, you're comfortable consulting. But learning the part of business that you're not comfortable at, like, why am I sabotaging myself? What are the limiting beliefs that I've been running away from? What are the conversations that I need to have that I've not been having with myself? And then where am I sabotaging myself, or what is the bottleneck in my business? And learning how to be a strategic, adaptable business owner, which is different from being a talented person in your industry.
Journey starts well beyond the award, or well behind the award. So we were in 2018-ish. We had been in business for many years, 20 years or so, and we had gotten a little complacent. My business partner and I, we were relying on repeat business. We did the classic entrepreneurial thing where we were relying on a couple of clients being way more of our revenue percentage than we were comfortable or should have been. And then all of a sudden something happens. There was a bit of an inflection point where big clients started to scale back some of the work that was coming to us. Our referral network was drying up. It was certainly very sort of competitive for the kind of work that we were traditionally doing. And all of a sudden we were at a point where our revenue had dropped significantly over the course of time. We had to inject personal money back into the business to make payroll. And that is a bit of a wake-up call for a mature firm. And so what my partner and I discussed was we need a new way of driving our business development. And she and I were both good at doing the work, but getting the work was not our strong suit at this point. And so we made the decision to hire a business development person, which, again, I've seen it happen in many other design firms with very mixed success, because you're trying to get a person who kind of represents your culture to go forward to get the right kind of work. And often those synergies don't happen. But we ended up finding a great woman named Joanne Mondelli, who came on board to help us refine our RFP response process to go to market with a much more sort of a salient sales plan and offering. And we also committed to that this wasn't going to happen overnight, that if we're going to do this, we had to invest in her and her process, and that we as business owners, Glenda and I, had to be a part of that journey too. So it literally took the better part of a year before we landed a couple of sizable new digital projects that really sort of changed the course of our business, in that once we completed them, and they take about a year to complete at least, we could then go to market as having a much more robust digital offering and doing large sort of government work much more competitively with those case studies. And so that began a process of snowballing the kind of scale of project that we could get. And so over the course of several years, we went from a revenue of about 1.4 million to over $3 million. And that, for a 32-year-old business, is exponential growth. I mean, it put us comfortably in the middle of the 500 or so firms, which may not be that impressive. But if you look at the top 100, they're mostly startups, and they have they have 40,000% growth because they had nothing, and now they have something. Mm-hmm. Whereas we were taking a 30-year-old firm and basically re-engineering it. And we had 136% growth over a 3-year period. And we did that all through, we didn't merge with anyone, we didn't buy anyone. It really was just through organic growth. And for me, that's why I was very excited. Now, Joanne Mondelli, so our goal was to not get on any list. It was to grow, to save, and then grow the business. And so Joanne, whose job is to sort of keep her eyes open to the world, said, we've had amazing growth. Maybe we could, submit to this. And we think it's quite a widely recognized achievement. And so we submitted, and we're very fortunate to win. And yes, it's something that kind of acknowledged everyone in our office's contribution to it, because it's not, you can't just get work, you have to do it, you have to do it well. And we've now maintained that revenue stability over the last 3 years. So we may not be on the list again, but the hurdle that we went through to sort of get to where we are now has been so significant to our business success. It's helped us sort of rejig our offering. We now do big digital projects, we do end-to-end branding projects, and we have had a big resurgence, ironically, in investor relations because of the rise of environmental social governance reporting. That's become kind of a mandate for large firms. We've gotten back into investor reporting as a specialty that I come from, and we've grown that to a significant part of our business. And those sort of 3 pillars are entry points into client relationships that can cross-sell each other. So they may know us for an annual report, but we can also do digital work for them and vice versa. So it's given us a much more stable revenue model, business approach, and it widens out the ups and downs of client engagement. Our business isn't built on retainers or anything like that. So the revenue really is at the mercy of client need. And so you need to have lots of clients and lots of needs to make sure that your revenue is stable over time. And I feel much better now than when we were in 2018 and 2019, for sure.
It's funny, looking back at that, I kind of scratch my head and think about it as well. That was not a goal. Okay. I think our goal really was, we knew that as we established Revenue Management Labs, we wouldn't have the same brand equity that other organizations had out there. Like a lot of consultancies, they've been around for a fair amount of time. They've got established client base. So we knew the only thing that we could do to really differentiate ourselves was the work that we do. Mm-hmm. And how we wanted to position ourselves was having a lot of experience before we started Revenue Management Labs. The one gap that we saw was that consultancies that worked in the area, they were great at bringing recommendations, but they were very high level. When we looked at what companies really needed was the support to take those high level recommendations. How do we take that down to a customer? How do we take that down to a product or service? How do we think about the different contracts that we're dealing with and get really granular with the recommendations and helping companies think about, well, when should we be going and presenting that to customer? And how should we be presenting that to customer? And how do we track that our sales team has actually done it? And how do I make sure that the sales team's implemented and the price is uploaded in the system? That was really where we wanted to differentiate Revenue Management Labs, not look at ourselves as an outside consultancy, but really look at ourselves as a partner and an internal partner that would understand your business, work with you, and not only work to produce a deck that's shows you, hey, here's the pot of money, but go be with you through implementation as that gets implemented in the market, work with you to understand, did we actually realize what we had expected to realize? And number 2, where we fell short, why did we fall short? And what are those next steps look like? Because what's actually interesting is when we find we fell short in certain instances, it's often things outside of pricing that are getting to us. So for example, maybe the sales team's not compensated in the right way. Maybe we don't have the right people. Maybe we need some more training. Maybe there's tools that need to be put in place or different reporting that needs to be put out to help enable the teams in different ways. So it's really not necessarily, we want it to be a partner organization that could go and hold hands with that, with our clients and make sure that we can drive that bottom line result, because that's kind of the key things that we want to differentiate ourselves based on, is that the results that we commit to will deliver and actually exceed those results.
For more insightful conversations with entrepreneurs, check out this video right here. I think you'll love it. Continue to enjoy, and I'll see you there.